Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And Corn
I think it's like
You guys go to all wait for your tea. I'll wait for your tea. I feel exposed right now. Thank you so much. And someone will be up here today. Right? No, well. No, like he's coming. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, and I've been muted. I've been muted this whole time. Awesome. Fucking awesome. Oh my god. One of these days I'm going to learn how that mute button works and remember it. So yeah, welcome to Miles Culture Plate yet again. I'm going to keep just bleeding viewers. I don't even think I have any viewers at this point. Oh my god. Anyway, so here we go. Here's Peter Ducey talking to Karine Jean-Pierre.
To the impacted areas. But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous, because then when folks on the ground hear that, they may not want to ask for the help that they need.
Okay, so we have Inspector Gadget here accusing Peter Ducey of misinformation. Now, we've had a lot of conversations happening around the hurricane relief efforts. And a lot of this show is going to be about what's going on in Florida right now. By the way, big prayers up. And a cheers to everyone in Florida. Hopefully you're all getting the hell out of there. I mean, it's probably making landfall now, if not during this show. But we'll be covering some of that. So cheers to all of you out there near the Florida coast. My prayers go with you. Godspeed. May you, your family, and your possessions weather the storm. So yeah, we've got a lot of conversations about whether or not aid is helping, and whether or not our government is helping, and whether or not our government is getting in the way of people helping. And there are a lot of news stories out there, and there's a lot of spin, both directions. And quite frankly, the rumor is that the federal government sent electric chainsaws to an area that don't have power. I haven't confirmed that, but it sounds about right. Sounds about like what they would do, folks. It's ineptitude at all levels, and we covered this little part. We covered a little bit of what they're talking about here on the last show, and this criticism of the money sent to Lebanon and money sent overseas versus whether or not FEMA had money left over for these two storms, and how FEMA. Well, actually, what we talked about on the last show was whether or not FEMA had spent a bunch of money on illegal immigration, and how that money was earmarked specifically for the illegal immigration, and that they wouldn't be able to use it for emergency management. Yeah, go FEMA. So here we have Karine Jean-Pierre trying to kind of brush Peter Doocy's question away as quote unquote misinformation when he's asking about Lebanon money versus money for Helene and Milton. So let's go back to the beginning.
To the impacted areas. And
this isn't the full clip. Hang on, let me bring this down. Let me go find the damn full clip because this is important to me. Oh dear God. Did everyone chop it down? Oh dear God. Where is the full clip? Do I have to go to one of these? I think I got to go to the Blaze here. Okay, we'll do this. We'll go to YouTube. Okay, let's do this. We'll go to YouTube, share this tab instead, full screen, add to stage. Okay.
White House, Peter Doocy is asking questions of Karine Jean-Pierre. Let's listen.
Who are wrongfully detained and held hostage. And again, frankly, we have had an extraordinary record of doing just that. And that's going to be the president's top
we'll cover it.
And on this issue of funding, the administration has money to send to Lebanon without Congress coming back. But Congress does have to come back to approve money to send to people in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
Here's what I'm going to be very clear about. The president and the vice president has had a robust whole of government response to this.
Okay,
hundreds of millions of dollars. I said it at the top, more than $200 million that we have directly put towards survivors here for disaster help. And that's because of this president's commitment.
Okay, that doesn't
to
answer
make
the
sure
question.
that we are there for communities that are impacted. We take this very seriously again. We take this very seriously.
Where's
and
the next aid going to come from? And why do you need it to come
the hurricane
from Congress
hit,
if
we
you can send it to Lebanon?
more than 1,500 federal folks on the ground to help. And so we have made sure that every state has gotten their storm requested emergency declaration. They requested it, and we made sure they received it. We've taken this very seriously. More than $200 million that we have provided to the impacted areas. But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous.
Misinformation.
Which is dangerous. Because
look at his face. Look at his face.
When folks on the ground.
Look at his face. He's trying to process this shit. Like, wait, did you just say it was misinformation to ask why we can afford to send money to Lebanon?
Hear that? They may not want to ask for the help that they need. That is there for them. That is there for them.
That's not what he asked.
That's our focus here.
That's not what he asked.
President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you don't, yes.
See, I love this. See, this is right here. She's exposing exactly what the left wing does when confronted with uncomfortable questions. They deflect to like your tone, or they accuse you of having a motive for asking the question. And look, you may have a motive for asking the question. That doesn't mean it's not a good question. It doesn't mean you don't deserve an answer, right? But just assuming a motive behind the question before you answer it, answer it and then say, but I'm offended that you think it's because of this other reason, right? But you're just not answering the question. Answer the question. Don't call it misinformation, because there's no information in his question. It's a question.
It's misinformation.
Is there money to send to Lebanon right now?
I just mentioned to you that we provided more than $200 million to folks who are impacted in the area, and I just shared with you that people are deciding not to. People are deciding not to.
Not to wait. To Congress that there's not enough money to help people.
We're talking about the SBA disaster loan.
Maybe that's because You, the government, aren't communicating properly with those people. Oh, they're the poor people. They need help, but they're not asking us for it, so we don't care. Come on.
Money for people in North Carolina.
And that's important. And people in North Carolina need that. Wait, this is nothing new. Peter, this is nothing new. Congress comes together, they provide money, millions of dollars for disaster relief. We're asking them to do the job that they have been doing for some time.
From a letter that President Biden
doing for some time.
Jeffries. The president's letter is not misinformation. Would you agree?
No, the way you're asking me the question is misinformation. There is money that we are allocating to the impacted areas, and there's money there to help people who truly need it. There are survivors who need the funding, and it's there.
That you don't like misinformation.
I said that. I actually said we have the money available to help survivors of Hurricane Helene and also Hurricane Milton.
Oh,
now,
you have enough money.
Why does there's going to be a shortfall?
Why do the other?
Because we don't know how bad it's Hurricane Milton is going to be. And so we're going to need additional funding. That's
exactly what I just asked about. And you said it was misinformation.
What you're asking me is why Congress needs to come back and do their job. That's what you're asking me. Congress needs to come back and do their job and provide extra assistance.
Yeah. Why? If you have the money to redirect to Lebanon that Congress doesn't need to vote on, apparently, then why does Congress need to do their job when it comes to you sending the same kind of money to North Carolina and to Florida and Georgia and Tennessee and the other affected areas of Helene? All right, so here's Peter Doocy responding.
Peter Doocy here, outside the West Wing of the White House, where this week, one of my questions about foreign aid versus hurricane relief was called misinformation. President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget,
and of course they're going to replay it. I should have just played this video to start.
For people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you do? Yes, it's misinformation.
I've got the information right here. The vice president is posting on social media about $157 million in additional assistance to the people of Lebanon.
Yeah.
President Biden is posting about how the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program is going to run out of funding if Congress does not come back. To a lot of people watching these briefings, a taxpayer dollar is a taxpayer dollar is a taxpayer dollar. That is not misinformation. That is a fact.
He brought the receipts, folks. That's all there is to it. He brought the receipts. Okay, let's look in on the live updates over on CNN for the Hurricane Milton. 2 minutes ago, Tampa Bay area is being deluged. Dangerous winds pounding the area. More than 3 inches of rain in the past 3 hours. An airport in St. Petersburg has picked up 3.49 inches of rain since 4 p.m. Eastern, so it's in the last hour and a half. Floridians can rest assured there will be a robust hurricane response, says Governor DeSantis. The most dangerous part of Milton was coming on shore 13 minutes ago, apparently. Eye wall 120 mile per hour with higher gusts. Extreme wind warning issued for the entire Tampa area. There's a National Weather Service tweet embedded there. Manatee and Pinellas County suspend emergency services. Settle into a safe place and stay put until the threat has passed and it's safe to go outside. Tornado count continues to rise. 55 tornado warnings issued by Miami. 98 by Tampa. Let's see. Wow. A lot of people will die if the water reaches 12 to 15 feet, says Bradenton Mayor Gene Brown. And look at that. Look at that storm. Oh. Right there, getting ready to slam into the Gulf Coast of Florida. That's what it looked like a half hour ago in Tampa. Almost nighttime. So yeah, if you're in Florida, like stay wherever the hell you are, hunker down, and again, Godspeed. And I hope you make it through this relatively unscathed. In economic news, or actually, here, let's see what else. No, we're going to continue with the Milton stuff here. Where did it go? So there's been this character that has been popping up all over my social media the past 24 hours who calls himself Lieutenant Dan. Apparently, he's a dude that hangs out on a boat in the Tampa area. This is him here.
Are you okay? Everybody's worried about you.
Who's worried about it?
It's all over TikTok.
Everybody, across the country.
I'm gonna go live in a minute.
Are you gonna be okay?
I'm gonna be fine.
I don't think people realize you're so close to down. I mean, you could just get off if something bad happened. You know what I mean?
I'm not going anywhere because the safest place to be is on a boat in a flood. Okay, we learned that with Noah. Everybody that stayed on land drowned.
He's not
Noah
entirely
and the
wrong.
animals lived. So I'm fine.
Do you have any animals?
No, I wish I did.
Okay. Well, you got all the news crews right here during the storm, so you can just, if you need anything. Everybody's worried about you,
I know
buddy.
everybody's worried about me. Everybody wants me to get off the boat. People don't. Being that I'm tied up to the cleat on the dock there, and it's secured in the concrete, which is secured to all this thing. I have a secured anchor point. I'm tied to the boat. If the tide goes up, I go up. As long as the water stays out of the boat, I'll be
He's
fine.
not wrong.
And the wind is, it's not a tornado. It's not going to get lifted up and thrown into Kansas. Okay, it's not like that. I'm not.
I mean, it kind of is, though.
I'm putting it in God's hands and taking it out of mine and man's.
All right.
So I'm sitting tight. I'm gonna play it out.
Well, like I said, we're all right up here. So if you need anything, everybody's parked right here. Okay.
I love you all, and I thank you for the concern.
Okay, so that video was taken after this next video. Go ahead and bring this down for a second. It was taken after this next video, which I saw was pretty disturbing. And this is from CNN. CNN talking to the Tampa mayor about our friend Lieutenant Dan there.
Catch up with an individual who is writing it out on his boat. He's refusing to leave. That could be an outlier case, but I've certainly seen this in storm after storm where people do write it out on their boats, which are their homes. What would you say to individuals like that who did not evacuate from zones A and B?
Well, that would probably take you right back to the statement that I made with Caitlin the other day. And we have tried so many times with that individual to get him off of that boat, and the officers will eventually just take him into custody and for his own good, because he's not going to survive in a sailboat.
Yeah, so you hear this.
With anywhere from 8 to 12 feet of storm.
So she, the mayor of a city on land, is claiming the right to enter the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf, and remove maritime citizens from their property. This is the kind of tyranny that I have nightmares about.
Storm surge. So
are you saying he would be arrested?
Well, for Baker Act, for his own protective custody. And it may be past the point for that, as the winds are gusting out there right now.
It may be past the point for that. Well, yeah, because that other video was taken after this one, and yeah, it's obviously too late. The weather has already hit. Now, again, I ran into this video about him. I'm not sure I'm not sure all the information in this video is correct. So take, this is internet drama. So take this for what it is.
First off, this man has a GoFundMe with over $20,000 in it. He's not homeless, period. He lives on a boat, except for the short year that he spent in prison for beating a EMT with a violin. His GoFundMe is under a different name than the one that he's using in the daily press and the one that he was arrested in. So it's really hard to tell who exactly he is. But what I have found is that his Facebook page lists himself as a digital creator. That's right.
Now, note down here, this caption says he already took the shelter option from the mayor. Well, I think from the video we saw, no, the weather's happening and he's still in his boat. If that's incorrect, I'm sure we'll find out, but I would like to hear otherwise here.
A digital creator. He lives in Palm Beach. Knowing that there was going to be a storm, he anchored himself to the worst place in all of Tampa. The worst place. From where he anchored, there are 4 marinas. The Hillsborough River, a short jaunt, literally not even 700 feet from where he's anchored, would have been a safer.
Now, look, I kind of push back on this because a marina is not necessarily the safest place to anchor when there's gale force winds. You don't want all that debris out in the open like that. That's his best chance.
For location to put his boat. He was offered hotels. He was offered homes. He has clearly made $20,000 in a GoFundMe. All of this for internet clout. Meantime, there are people who are homeless in Tampa and St. Pete, Clearwater area. There are people who are infirm, who are gravely ill, who have no cars, who cannot leave, who do not have options. And those people have my sympathies. Those are the people that deserve our sympathy. Not people who've decided that they want to chase clout on the internet. Not people who have $20,000 in a GoFundMe that they started 3 weeks ago. Not people who came to Tampa to make a point. Not people who chase internet fame.
So, I imagine some of that information is correct. Some of it's going to be incorrect. And, I don't know what to make of it. Granted, I agree with her. We shouldn't be, if you folks have been following this story on the internet, you shouldn't be donating to the guy. What are you donating to? The he says he's happy in the boat. So just let him be in the boat. Why do you need to donate to the guy? You don't need to. He's got his boat, and God. He said that's what he wanted. Let him have that. So I agree with her. We shouldn't be stressing out. The guy says he wants to, yeah, it's an interesting story. Let's follow it. See if he survives this. Godspeed to the dude. I hope he survives it. And yeah, if he's been assaulting ambulance workers, the dude's a fucking scumbag. But I don't think he deserves to die. But he's not in prison, right? At least he's not in prison. Because as the ACLU is now reporting, and Newsweek, Florida jail in the danger zone won't evacuate its inmates. As of Tuesday afternoon, Manatee County Jail's not planning on evacuating 1,200 inmates, even as state and local officials stress that Florida residents should heed evacuation warnings. We do not issue evacuation orders lightly, Public Safety Director Jody Fisk said. Milton is anticipated to cause more storm surge than Helene, so if you stayed during Helene and got lucky, I would not press my luck with this particular system. However, as of Tuesday afternoon, the deputy said that officials had not planned to evacuate the jail. The jail has stocked up on supplies, sandbags. Should it flood, inmates could be moved to the top floor. The deputy said the jail had not flooded to that extent in the past. Deputies will also remain at the jail during the storm. A large destructive storm surge with highest inundations of 10 feet or greater is expected. Officials across Florida have been pleading with residents to heed evacuation warnings. Please take this storm seriously. Manatee County Emergency Management Chief Matt Meyer said in a press release, now's the time to prepare. So yeah, not only are they not being evacuated, well, they're also being put to good work.
Never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money.
Go ahead and mute that. But you have the inmates shoveling sand into bags and distributing it amongst the residents. Hell yeah. So it looks like we got a strikeout, 2 strikeouts, and Yuri Gurriel hitting a double. So we got a hit. Royals got a hit. Jesus hates the Yankees. All right. Now, we're going to wheel this back into my home state and talk about a serious issue with this election. The next thing you're about to see is a gentleman who is a professor at the University of Kansas, which is within an hour's drive of me right now. And he has a statement for all you folks that might want to vote a certain way.
Guys are smarter than girls, you got some serious problems. That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president.
Gee, I wonder who he's talking about.
Because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. So this is an extreme straw man of the point of view, right? Whether it's possible, whether it's likely, and it's not about being smart enough. Understand that the President of the United States, there are many qualities one would want in the President of the United States. It's not all about intellect, right? It's about cunning. It's about, there are a lot of people who don't want to vote for Donald Trump because of likability, right? They want someone who's a little kinder. There are a lot of qualities one would want in a president of the United States. And again, just completely ignoring the fact that we're talking obviously about Kamala Harris here. There are lots of women who exhibit those qualities. The idea that they would make it far enough on the national stage and receive enough ass kissing from donors and enough upward trajectory in the political landscape and maintain things like likability, cunning, intelligence, patriotism. Yeah, that becomes a little more unlikely. And that's nothing against women. Y'all are awesome. But the way he's framing this is, big caveman man think women not smart. Big caveman man is dumb. Come on now. It's a straw man and you know it. Hey, we got Still Not Banned here over on Rumble. Cheers and welcome, Still Not Banned here. Love having you by. Big strong man not vote for woman. Big strong man think woman not smart. Big man not smart. But let's hear what else he has to say. Let's hear what else he has to say about you for not wanting to vote for vagina.
we could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works.
Really? I'm down the street, buddy. I'm an hour away. Come pick me up. Line me up. I dare you. I dare you. This is what gets hired in the University of Kansas athletics department. People like this.
Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording.
Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. Oopsie. You did a oopsie. I done fucked up.
I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
Oh, it's okay for me to say it, just as long as the dean don't hear it. Well, now the entire world has heard it. Now the whole internet has heard what you think of voters.
Guys are smarter than girls.
And again, if you had a salient point here, Sangland 86, buddy, good to see you. Cheers and welcome. Didn't Jack Murphy die? Yes, this dude, did he die? Oh, hang on now. Holy crap. Did he die? He's not dead. Oh, you had me going. Cheers and welcome. Still not been here. I always think about your show the day after it's on. Well, it doesn't matter because the first 10 minutes is always going to be me talking into a muted mic all of a sudden. I don't know why I keep doing that. I do the countdown thing with OBS running, so I don't want the mic on during that, but I should be smart enough to unmute myself to start the show. I'm going to get better at that, I promise. All right. So yeah, this guy wants us dead. Literally they want us dead. And we're the ones accused of wanting to create violence. We're the one accused of January 6th type activities. You know, January 6th was bigger than whatever it was supposed to be. And pardon my sinuses. I promise I'm not on cocaine. The weather change is getting to me. My sinuses have been bad for a long time. Anyway, so yeah, this professor here. Okay, got 1 on, 1 out in the top of the third in the Yankees-Royals game here. This professor here, you may be wondering who this wonderful man is. Well, that we have found out his identity thanks to the internet. Now, please don't harass Kansas University or this guy or his family. I just want to mock him a little bit. Student Athlete Support Services, April staff highlight. So he's the Director of International Student Athlete Support, Dr. Phil Lowcock. So again, comparing him to Jack Murphy, he's got the Lowcock beard. Oh my God. What a perfect name, Dr. Phil Lowcock. Because he likes to fill Lowcock. He doesn't have a hometown. He was born in Oklahoma, moved every year, and been in Kansas for 50 years now. He likes pizza, barbecue, chicken fried steak, and pie. And probably various types of soda and seed oils and everything else gross. And his favorite thing about KU athletics is the amazing, talented young people. Young people. A little sus there, folks. A little sus. Holy crap. Did I burn through all my news stories already? I think I did. Damn it. I'm getting bad at my stream all of a sudden. So I guess we'll do a love does admonish. But anyway, let me go ahead and do a little rant on this Dr. Phil Lowcock. Let me do a little rant on what he was saying, because I think it's important that we address this from every angle, right? Because, like I said, obviously he was talking about Kamala Harris. Obviously, he was talking about dudes that won't vote for Kamala Harris. Wrong Jack Murphy. Hopefully, it's the wrong Phil Lowcock too. But the idea of not voting for Kamala Harris has nothing to do with the women ain't smart. It has to do with, is this woman smart? And as we said earlier in the show, it's not smart when you're trying to be the candidate of change to then go on The View and say, oh, no, I wouldn't change a thing about the last 4 years. I've been an integral part of it. I've been working with Joe to make all those things happen. Right? This is what we're talking about women candidates for president being smart. Oh, no, we did have one other story. Oh, no, we do. We have 3 more stories. Sorry. But anyway, I'll go ahead and finish talking about this guy's rant here. And the idea that you're going to round up the dumb men and shoot them is abhorrent. Now, I don't wish violence on this guy. Honestly, I think most guys like this, they're going to go out and get vasectomies, and their genes will just naturally be bred out of existence. I don't think we need to commit violence against the left. It's unnecessary. You know, they're the ones getting the abortions. They're the ones getting the procedures to prevent themselves from procreating, which is also why they're the ones trying to groom our kids, right? But ultimately, it has nothing to do with the intelligence of the candidate. And the fact that you have so many people on the left and in the middle. I mean, for God's sakes, even Jesse Ventura himself said, "Oh, it's time for me to vote for a woman." Again, you should be voting for a president because of their cunningness, their intelligence. Whether or not they have a vagina has nothing to do with voting. You are giving this person a license to launch nuclear weapons, to shift poverty from community to community, to command militaries to march around the world, and to be the face of America and her, 245 year, 44 year, however long it's been since 1776, 200-year history. I mean, it's real simple. It's real simple. Vote your heart. Vote for what your brain tells you. But instead, these people, they want to be part of a bandwagon. They want to be part of whatever the TV tells them. And the TV tells them, be nice to women. So there we go. Let's see if we have any more updates from CNN on Hurricane Milton. 89 miles per hour. Whoa. Why did my StreamYard just bounce? You folks still out there? Do I still have an audience? Am I alive? Oh God, what just happened? Did Hurricane Milton just come to Kansas and end me? Okay. We're good. We're good. I just saw that I'm still live. Awesome. Naples, Florida, storm surges 3.7 feet above ground. Sarasota winds. Okay. So again, hopefully it passes mostly safely for most of anybody that's viewing the stream right now. Still not banned here says another chat was saying it's now category 3. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing any change in CNN's feed here, but again, I'll try to keep a little update. Let's get into the other few news stories and then we'll wrap things up here. Let's do this. Let's talk about McDonald's. McDonald's French fry supplier suddenly shutters its factory and slashes jobs as inflation stops customers from hitting up fast food chains. A major McDonald's French fry supplier slashed jobs and abruptly closed a factory as cash-strapped customers downsized their meals. Okay. What company is it? It doesn't say the company here. Many of these promotional meals have consumers trading down from a medium fry to a small fry, said Tom Warner, whose company supplies around 80% of French fries sold at fast food joints in the U.S. Holy shit. 80% of all French fries at all fast food in the U.S., not just McDonald's. Those that do eat out have seen menu prices soar, especially in California, after the $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers on April 1st. McDonald's U.S. sales, same store, dropped 0.7 last quarter compared to the same period a year earlier. Lamb Weston. Okay, Lamb Weston. Trouble for Golden Archer spells trouble for Lamb Weston. Okay, and so yeah, here's their ad. Wow. You may have heard, I highly recommend you folks go out. There's a viral video out there. I'm not sure if it's on TikTok or it might be on YouTube. Feel free to look on YouTube that talks about the McDonald's French fry and what it takes to make the McDonald's French fry and the potato that has to be grown. Still not banned here says, is their business going to fail or what? Probably not. Like I said, they're making the cuts. They're cutting people. They're cutting jobs. They're closing some factories. But if they're supplying 80% of the French fries at all fast food in the US, they're going to be just fine. I mean, America's not going to stop eating the seed oil anytime soon. So thank you to the New York Post for that. Whoa. I hadn't heard that. I'm going to have to look that up. So thank you, New York Post, for that. Also from the New York Post, we have this. The Trinidad Aragua gang comes for U.S. kids. Gang member accused of trying to recruit middle schoolers in Texas. Jorgenes Robertson Kova, 32, has multiple arrests for theft since crossing the border 2 years ago and is suspected with trying to make contact with students at Jane Long Academy in Las Americas in Houston, federal law enforcement told the Post. A Venezuelan migrant and confirmed member of Trinidad Aragua wanted to train the kids for a large-scale shoplifting ring. He targeted the young teens because they face very few consequences when they're caught. Former U.S. Marshal Robert Almonte told the Post that it's very likely Tren de Aragua have enrolled in American schools. That brings back memories of how the cartels like to operate and use school students to drive load vehicles across the border. The reason they do it is they tell these juveniles, look, you get caught, but nothing going to happen. You get a slap on the wrist, which pretty much is true, said Almonte. Multiple sources who work in Homeland Security confirm that recruiting vulnerable kids is a priority for TDA, whose members can entice students with money and promises of very few consequences. Yes, Sanglant, they do outgas the Spuds for weeks. They're looking for vulnerable young men and women looking to prove themselves to someone, I hate to say it, but it's usually fatherless homes, says one source. Oh, shout out to single moms. Always making the best choices for their children. Texas authorities nabbed Kova after learning he lived in Houston, suspected to ties of TDA, and had a warrant for theft out of Pearland. He was also found to have TDA tattoos, a 5-point crown, a clock, which typically signifies time spent in prison, and roses. He previously told authorities he had been incarcerated for a time in Venezuela, where he was also charged for theft. So again, when Donald Trump says that they're opening their jails and sending them up here, it's just a conspiracy theory, folks. It's not really happening. Oh, look, he crossed at Eagle Pass, Texas in July 2022 when he crossed with 3 kids and a woman that he said was his wife. He was released by ICE and didn't comply with the release orders. Began stealing across Houston, Dallas, and Arizona, where he led a crew of 10 gangbangers and stealing thousands of dollars of merchandise. The squad was seen in pictures and videos with drugs, firearms, and stacks of cash. In 2023, cops in Houston arrested him for felony theft, but was let go the next day after posting a $1,000 bond. Wow. And then in April, he was arrested for 2 separate thefts. One in which he led a crew that included a child to shoplift $3,600 worth of perfume from Ulta Beauty in Arizona. Those charges were dropped. And then the next month, arrested for shoplifting again, and those charges were dropped. Yes. Yeah, what's the point in arresting him if you're just going to let him go? Just let him take your kids and make gangs out of them. Meanwhile, if you want to do something to protect yourself from criminals like this, like, say, buy a bunch of parts for your gun and put a gun together, well, you got the government trying to stop you. This is from Newsweek. I guess the Supreme Court had a hearing today about ghost guns and whether or not they're constitutional. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito compared a ghost gun to an omelet before Amy Coney Barrett used a chili analogy. The court was hearing arguments in Garland versus Vanderstock, a challenge to ATF regulation that places new requirements on untraceable ghost guns assembled by the buyer. Parts are typically purchased online, and their use has surged in recent years. Discussing how components can be defined as a weapon, Justice Alito asked Prelogar if a notebook and a pen together were a shopping list. She replied that they were not. The justice then asked, if I put on a counter some eggs, some chopped up ham, chopped up pepper, and onions, is that a Western omelet? Prelogar replied that they do not, as they can be used to make many other dishes. Whereas the components of a ghost gun can only be used to make a firearm. Now, I object to that. You could use a gun barrel for a lot of different things. Right? you could use a hammer slide for a lot of different things. And you could even use the assembled gun. Assuming you did create a gun, you could even use it for a lot of different things other than shooting, high velocity lead acid projectiles. So this idea that gun parts is inherently dangerous as pointing a weapon at somebody. Well, but this is part of the misnomer here. The key difference is that these weapon parts kits are designed and intended to be used as instruments of combat, and they have no other conceivable use. Well, I just debunked that. Sorry. Try again. And I think that further evidence comes from the fact that respondents themselves agree that a disassembled gun qualifies as a weapon. Hang on, I'm going to keep reading, but I'm going to switch my camera to my profile pic there. Then Justice Amy Coney Barrett asked, would your answer change if you ordered it from HelloFresh and you got a kit and it was like turkey chili, but all of the ingredients are in the kit? Logar replied, yes, and I think that presses more on the inapt analogy here, which is that we are not suggesting here that scattered components might have some entirely separate and distinct function, could be aggregated and called a weapon in the absence of this kind of evidence that is their intended purpose and function. But if you bought from Trader Joe's some omelet making kit that had all of the ingredients to make the omelet, and maybe included whatever you needed to start the fire to cook the omelet, we would recognize that for what it is. Yes, Sanglant, AR-15 wind chimes. The ATF rule introduced in April 2022 amends the definition of firearm to include self-assembly kits. It is also stipulated that partially assembled weapons that can be easily converted to full firearms must be registered at guns, which means they have to have a license, background check, and the gun must have a traceable serial number. Gun dealers challenged the regulation and were victorious in federal appeals court, and the government is now challenging that decision at the Supreme Court level. So there you have it, folks. You have Amy Coney Barrett asking sympathetic questions on whether or not gun parts are a gun. And Samuel Alito rightly saying, no, parts do not make a sum. Okay, well, we are at the top of the hour, so it looks like I won't have to scramble to find a love don't judge or scramble to fill time. Even though I was muted, all I really said during the muted time was welcome. I'm drinking whiskey. It's Willet Pot Still Bourbon. And that I'm watching the baseball game. I had a potential of a chance to cancel the show tonight and take up this guy's offer on Facebook to go to the baseball game with him for $150. And I was really, really considering it. But I wanted to be here instead. And I'm glad I did. And look, here we are. We're an hour into the game. It's still tied at 0. And yeah, we had a good time. I thank you, Sanglant and Still Not Banned here, for showing up. And thank you to anyone else who's out there watching, without commenting. And thank you to everyone else who's out there watching this later on demand. Cheers to all of y'all. I finished off the whiskey already. Well, no, there's a drop here. Go super alcoholic and make sure I get every drop. So yeah, thank you, folks. And thank you for to the Willet Pot Still Bourbon for keeping me rolling. And once again, prayers to everyone who has either been affected by recent hurricanes or are in the path of recent hurricanes or any other natural or unnatural disaster that anyone might be facing out there. Please keep your head up. Please try to keep a positive attitude and keep on rolling. Folks, please take a second, click that thumbs up button. wherever you're watching me, please click that thumbs up button before we wrap up. The like button really helps with the algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please watch a second video or share this to another platform. Really helps with the algorithm. And yeah, leave a comment. Come on into the chat next time. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday, 6 p.m. Central. Same bat time, same bat channel. Come on in, say hello, get your toast, get your comments shown on screen. I love it. I love it. And we can sit here and just clown on the media and clown on the clout chasers and clown on people who deserve some haters, right? So until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you. And if you do, rub that shit in real good. Until next time, folks, have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you this Saturday. Go Royals. Beat those damn Yankees. Good night.